Do you have questions concerning planning a Disney trip? Ask them live on the show or submit them on our website at patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It feels like it's been a while. It is Matt with the DPI podcast. We have a great show tonight. We've got Peter with Princesses and the Mouse at Disney Travel joining us tonight. We've got a couple weeks of news to talk about since life kind of got in the way last week of us doing a show. So lots to talk about, whether it's the food and wine opening. There's a lot going on at Disneyland Paris, a lot going on in Hong Kong. And we got some new news about Shanghai as well. So just a ton going on across the park. So relatively awesome show. So we're gonna get into it so we can kind of knock it all out before we have to say goodnight to our kiddos. So without further ado, this is DPI Live. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. All right, welcome to the show. I'm Matt with the DPI podcast. Today is April the 23rd. We are almost through the month of April already, and this is the DPI Live show. My camera decided it wanted to shimmy. Oh, that was a lot. There we go. Much better. So, this is the DPI Live podcast. Here in a second, I'm going to have Peter with Princesses and the Mouse at Disney Travel. He's getting things set up over on his side. Peter is a travel agent for Disney and a close friend, also a golf coach, and I don't know what else to say about him. I'd say he's a hell of a Lorcana player, but I can't even say that. So, I have never beat anybody, so well, I can't say that. I have one in-person match. So, all right. So, Peter is ready over on the other screen. He has his Roosevelt shirt on. I am going with the California Food and Wine Festival shirt from this year, since we've got some Food and Wine Festival on the East Coast news. So let me go ahead and bring on Peter, and let's talk a little bit about what's going on at the parks. Mr. Salvadori, how you doing tonight?
Well, better at Lorcana than you.
Thanks.
Hey, you brought it, man. This is on you.
So it's been a couple weeks. We really haven't talked a whole lot about your trip to the parks. So let's.
You did?
We kind of touched on it. It was a really, really quick show because it was the night that the Blue Sky stuff all hit. So let's talk a little bit about your trip out there. So you went a couple weeks ago. What? It's been now 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while ago.
A little bit.
So anything new that you were able to enjoy on this past trip?
Oh, geez, it's been so long. This is this is like this is a moment of type of question. Yeah, so obviously, anytime I go, at this point, we've gone so many times that, it's getting harder and harder to find those things, and so a lot of times we default back to kind of our favorites. But some new things, we always try to do some new things, So we did the dining plan for the first time since it's been back. We had the opportunity to in January, but decided not to for that short trip because we decided to add it to the spring break trip that was 7 nights long, 8 nights long, whatever it was, 7 nights long. And so just got some insight into the dining plan to kind of explain, the changes, the ins and outs, the ups and downs, what have you, is it still worth it, all of that good stuff. We've never been to Ohana for dinner, so we were staying at Polynesian, so we did want to make it a focus to go to Ohana for dinner. So we did that. We also had been there several times during Flower and Garden, but we had never gone to a Garden Rocks concert. We had maybe walked by one going on, but we never sat down to understand the length of the show and any the ins and outs. We decided to get the dining package for that, so that was very good. We got the dining package for Phantasmic as well. I have done that before. Most recently with you,
yes,
we did the dining package up at Mama Melrose, and this time we decided to do it at Hollywood and Vine because we had never seen the springtime fancy outfits for Minnie and friends. So we did a lunch there. Trying to think what else, if anything, we did that was classified as new, but I think this is the longest we've ever stayed at Polynesian. Anytime we've ever stayed at Polynesian, it's always been a couple nights, maybe upwards of 2 to 3 nights. Typically, though, it's just maybe 1 or 2 nights. We were there for 7 nights, and so that gave me a really good sense of kind of being on the monorail, because a lot of times we're down in that EPCOT area and we'll just come up to stay at Contemporary or Grand Floridian or Polynesian for maybe a night or two. This time we were fully in it. So
where does Poly rank as a resort for you? I hear a lot of mixed feelings about Poly, that it's a beautiful resort, but the buildings can be a little far away, and you're almost pinned into Magic Kingdom a little bit. What are your thoughts on the Poly?
Well, before spring break, I would have said top 3 resorts. But now I just don't know. I think I have to reassess. So I will say, so we were on the very south end of the resort, which, as you were just kind of alluding to, was a pretty solid walk, especially being on the dining plan and wanting to take advantage of
I just lost you for a second.
Easily trip. You what?
I lost you. What you were taking advantage of? What are you taking advantage of, like Ohana and that kind of stuff, on the dining plan?
Oh, the refillable resort mugs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So being on that south end of the resort, as you were kind of talking about, to go refill our resort mugs, this is a 10-minute round trip walk. It was kind of annoying that the pool, the kind of DVC pool, was open a little bit later, but the grill would close at 8, and so they would shut down and close the resort refill stations there at 8, right when the rest of the bar area closed. And so all of that was just kind of annoying. And then we thought, oh, this is gonna be so awesome, we're on the south end of the resort, so we're just going to be able to walk over to the TTC so that we can just get straight onto EPCOT monorails. And the fact of it was that most of the time, security was just an absolute pain, because they were running it so skinny that, instead of just having everything blown wide open, it was just, there were a lot of times we went up where a quarter to a third of it was open and everything else was closed. Even at the best, it was half of it was open and the rest of it was closed. And so it was just kind of a nuisance of trying to get through the security, because a lot of the times you stay at a deluxe resort to kind of get rid of that.
Yeah.
And there were several times where the resort monorail was down, leaving Magic Kingdom, trying to head back to our resort. What is great is they also have the boat service. And so there were several nights that instead of the monorail, we were like, you know what, let's go take the boat. Sure, it stops at Grand Floridian first, but it's still just nice and relaxing and a great way to kind of hang your hat on the night. So no, all in all, it is still like one of my top resorts, but definitely further staying there and kind of dealing with the busyness of Magic Kingdom and the busyness of TTC, especially for an EPCOT going family, which we've talked about many times on the show. We are an EPCOT first family. And so I thought, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to be able to get right on the EPCOT monorail. Yeah, Beach Club, Boardwalk, and Riviera and Caribbean, the better way for EPCOT. For EPCOTers, EPCOTians, citizens of EPCOT.
Thank you, person who looks strikingly like Terry Crews.
Yeah, but it's not Terry Crews because it's from Xandar, so it's just a guy that looks like Terry Crews. I just also realized one of my lights wasn't on.
I was going to say, I looked at another quality
and went, wow, I'm like rolling Darkwing Duck mode over here.
All right, so let's get into a little bit of the news. I'll hit the timer here, and I'll probably have to resize you a little bit. But I
need to resize myself.
I know. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. Okay, big news. Food and Wine was announced this week. What is the big news in that announcement? What did you take away from that announcement?
I didn't look at the specific dates, but it's later. Hold on.
August 29th through November 23rd.
Right, which is like a solid month later than it was last year and 6 weeks later than it was the year before that.
Yeah.
So obviously that is kind of big news. And honestly, I don't know, you can agree or disagree with me on this, but I think it's okay because basically we're now kind of back to what it was before it exploded and almost became too much. I think a couple years ago on this show, you and I were sitting here going, I mean, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Same with Flower and Garden a little bit. There was one year that I went like 3 or 4 times because I had a school function and a family trip and a trip with a friend or whatever, and I ended up going 3 or 4 times in the spring, and Flower and Garden was happening every single time. And I'm like, what? It's been months. Like, it was like a 3-month difference from when I went the first time to when I went the last time. And so, yeah, that was the biggest takeaway is obviously very, very trimmed down, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. Outside of that, a lot more of the same in terms of details. Exciting that they're going to use Communicore Hall, which is the new area that they are building there off of the center. So
opens end of June is when Communicore is going to open.
Yep. Early June. There's a bunch of I think it's June 4th, June 10th, something like that. They're kind of doing like a dedication ceremony for all of that kind of area.
Yeah, I think it's the 10th because it's shortly after we leave.
They're
doing
that. Makes sense. Yeah.
So
they announced some of the some of the merchandise. Looks good. Ratatouille theme, that makes sense. We haven't gotten the concert lineup, but
that usually starts trickling out here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and same thing with the menus. So I can't really say there was much about this press release other than just the dates, because we're still waiting on menus, confirming the kitchen locations, seeing what's new. Because for the most part, for Food and Wine and Flower and Garden, and really all the festivals, I would say 85% is repeated and 15% is new. You'll get like a new dish at this kitchen, or a completely new kitchen that's never been seen before. Same with Flower and Garden. This last year we were there and we're like, oh, there's one of our favorites. Ooh, this is new. Let's try that. Somewhere in like 75 to 80% of the festival food is a repeat. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what fan favorites come back and, which ones kind of disappear. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess my big thing is with them shortening it down. Does this now open the door for bringing back like the Festival of the Americas, or are they going to really try and just say, "Hey, we've got 2 months now where we don't have a festival over the summer. Yeah. Why don't we just leave it that way?" Because maybe they're catering for that younger crowd at EPCOT over the summer. It is school summer breaks and that kind of stuff, and then when Food and Wine really kicks off, most kids are starting to go back to school. So maybe this is more of a, hey, let's push the not have a bunch of drunken idiots at EPCOT every day, and make it a more of a family friendly park while there's a huge opening for children to come to the parks.
I mean, August 29th, everybody's been back in school for weeks at that point. Yeah. So very feasible. It is also obviously a question mark because, this year alone they've shortened Flower and Garden, and now shortened on the other side. They shortened the end of Flower and Garden, shortened the beginning of Food and Wine. It'll definitely be interesting. And the other thing is, or the other thought that I have is, all of those festival booths are manned. And so when you're constantly running festivals, you have people there. So my curiosity on top of other festival situations is, what do you do with all those cast members now that you have? That's a lot of cast members that are needed to run all those festival booths, and now you used to kind of like go straight from one into the other, and so you could say, oh, well, that makes sense because the cast members probably get a few days off, get them maybe a little extended leave, take their vacations, what have you, maybe do some training on the new menu items, maybe do some samplings and tastings so that they're more ready to sell those menu items. But now, 2 months off, where do those people work? is my thoughts.
Well, they might
open some mostly college program people.
Maybe they open some more security booths at TTC.
Maybe they should.
Over at Disneyland, they're getting some new restaurants in their downtown Disney district. In May, they're going to get Paseo, Centrico, and Tendita that are going to open. And then in the summer, Din Tai Fung is going to open. 2 new restaurant concepts, a steakhouse and an adjacent barbecue eatery, are coming to the footprint of the former Tortilla Joe's location. So lots of new dining. So when we were out there, there was a ton of construction on like the Disneyland hotel side of downtown Disney. So this is going to be a lot of what's coming, just more eateries there. And it's a really cool area between Disneyland Hotel and the park entrances. So really good to see. Disneyland Paris is launching a huge tandem ad campaign with the Olympics about, hey, since you're in town to see the Olympics, why don't you come to Disneyland Paris? One of our parks is going to be completely torn apart, but still come have fun here. Walt Disney World shared new details about the annual pass holder lounge at EPCOT during the VIP ass holder days. That's so awkward to say how they've got it written out. From May 1st, June 18th, the lounge is located at Restaurant Marrakesh in the Morocco Pavilion from noon to 8 p.m. every day. What do you think about that?
I'm excited. I think it's really neat that they're bringing back that lounge. They had it last year for a similar time frame. They've had it for the last few years, actually. First, they used Akershus before it was reopened. Then last year, they used kind of that area to the side of Seasons by Living with the Land, that seating area.
Yeah.
Obviously, Akershus felt, this was designed, this was planned. It felt very nice. Last year when they threw it over at Seasons, it seemed very cheap. So I'm very interested. In fact, I'm even considering, like, how do I find a few days to just sneak down there on a leave early morning, come back late at night the next day type of a deal, one night type of a thing, to kind of check out this and what it looks like. They're also releasing a magnet during this time. They're doing several other promotional things, like extra, taking the merchandise up to 30% off at Animal Kingdom. There's also Travel Partner Appreciation Month, so there's some stuff going on at Animal Kingdom. So there's just a lot of reasons why, like, they're like, Peter, come to Disney for a couple years. And so I loved Restaurant Marrakesh. I ate at Restaurant Marrakesh before it closed, and it is one of the sad things.
We got to work on your connection, man. You're killing me.
What's wrong with my connection?
your connection, it buckled on you again. So what do you like about Restaurant Marrakesh?
Hold on. Cancel. Okay. I tried to close some stuff. Let's see if it works. It could also just be my daughter streaming crazy amounts of videos. So Restaurant Marrakesh is a beautiful location back there in Morocco. I ate there before it closed, and it was an awesome menu. They had live belly dancing. The servers were fantastic and just really cool personalities on a lot of them that I talked to. And it's just kind of sad that it didn't come back. I get it, though, because it wasn't full. We got the reservation last moment. When we went in there, the restaurant was maybe a third full. So I get why, and it's not a very big restaurant, by the way. So I get why it's not back, but yeah, it'll be cool to see Restaurant Marrakesh used. It'll be even cooler if they can, like, I don't know, extend that pavilion area and make like an Aladdin themed ride. That would be even better, because I still stand by, like,
just move the magic carpets over there. They're out of place in Adventureland anyway.
Shove them back there. I think getting Epcot needs a few more rides. It really does. It needs that Winnie the Pooh or Mary Poppins. Well, not Winnie the Pooh, but a Mary Poppins themed thing over there in Britain. It needs Aladdin over in Morocco. It just needs some more things for people to go stand in line for, because right now Frozen and Ratatouille are just god awful. I mean, Frozen's line is so small, and it takes 95 minutes because of all of the Lightning Lane and DAS abusers and all that.
We'll get back on the DAS stuff here in a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about Disneyland Paris. Disneyland Paris, for their 32nd anniversary, announced that Walt Disney Studio Park was going to be renamed to Disney Adventure World. That is unimaginative, but it will have a new studio entrance, and then later on this year, World of Frozen will open at Disney Adventure World Park at Disneyland Paris. Naming hasn't been good here recently, so, and it seems like it's across like the theme park industry. Like it's hard to get good names, but it is what it is. Fantasmic is back on the Disneyland Park calendar officially now. Fantasmic returns May the 24th with showtimes at 9 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. Now, you've been there with both shows going, and now they've got a third show going in this park with the Star Wars show going. How do those shows, I guess, work against each other as far as crowd draw and actually like seeing fireworks on the backside of Fantasmic and that kind of stuff? What is that like?
Like in terms of,
does it take away from either show that you know that another show's going on and they're in relative close proximity to each other?
Yeah, when you're sitting there, so Fantasmic has two show times going right now, so we'll see how long that continues. And then the little thing out by Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway at that Chinese theater takes place kind of in between those two. And so if you're sitting in waiting for Fantasmic and that goes on, you don't really hear or notice it because you're so, I know it seems like they're close, but by the time you really walk to the Fantasmic Stadium, it's a pretty good distance away. Because, yeah, you enter by the Beauty and the Beast live stage show, but I mean, it is a hike back there to that stadium, right?
What I'm talking about is over at Disneyland, though. Disneyland, yeah, Disneyland.
I missed that. I was like, wait, you talking Hollywood Studios?
No, Disneyland.
Gotcha. I can't actually tell you at Disneyland. I've watched the One World of Color, and I've watched the Captain America and the Frozen shows in the Hyperion. But for exactly kind of the reason you're alluding to, I actually haven't worried about trying to watch those shows in Disneyland because exactly kind of what you said, it gets very kind of congested, and it's very, the viewing area is not a very wide thoroughfare, as you know, right? That area in front of Pirates of the Caribbean and all of that New Orleans Square, like, is just not a big area to go and watch that show. So I have actually not watched Fantasmic over in Disneyland. So I can't help you here. Did you watch it while you were out there?
It wasn't open yet. So it doesn't come back until the 24th of May. So, you know, where that is in proximity, and when you're standing in New Orleans Square, you're kind of at an angle back towards the back of the castle. So I would imagine that while you're watching that first show of Fantasmic, the fireworks have to be going off. Unless they slot the fireworks in at like 10 o'clock between the two shows. That would be the only thing that makes sense. So.
Yeah. I do not.
Let's see what else. I responded to a lot of stuff. Jeez. Dozens of new DVC cabins built and under construction at Fort Wilderness. These are kind of cool because these are different than the ones over at Copper Creek. These are a little bit more rustic looking and a little smaller than the ones at Copper Creek. Copper Creek's an 8 adult cabin. The ones over at Fort Wilderness are 6 adult cabins. You've stayed at Fort Wilderness a couple of times when you had the camper. What are your thoughts on Fort Wilderness?
I mean, it's a great, what I love about, so first off, Fort Wilderness is essentially two things. You have the campground, and then you have the cabins, which is where this DVC stuff is going in a whole new loop of DVC cabins are being built, which, by the way, love the look of them. Looking forward to booking them in the near-ish future. Right now, our Disney vacation visions, however, are taking us to land, cruise, and potentially Asia. So I can't tell you when I'm going to get the opportunity to make this statement happen. Perhaps next year, maybe, because we are going to go to World for just a few days before our cruise, because my birthday, my 40th birthday, is the day before the cruise. And so my wife really wants me to be in EPCOT, and I don't disagree with her. When I
you just have to be able to make the boat.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. The cruise line bus service will get me there. I just gotta get on a bus. And they have bathrooms on the bus, so it's fine. So, anyway, so it's almost like those two things almost feel completely different, because while we were camping, my mom was staying in the cabins, and so I've spent some time over in the cabins area. I've spent some time in the campground area. What is fantastic about Fort Wilderness is, if you are a nature-loving camp and you enjoy camping, what's great about Fort Wilderness is you are at Disney, but when you get back from the park, you are at a campground. Like, Disney's gone. Sure, there's a really nice pool area and a playground, but there's activities, but all campgrounds have activities these days. You know, at least the good ones that want to charge a decent amount of money for them have activities these days. And so it's really cool, because especially if you're go for a week and a half, but only go to the park, 3, 4, 5 times, those days off are genuinely days off where you're just straight up camping and lounging around. Because if you're at any other resort, even on your day off, you're still like in the hustle and bustle of a Disney vacation.
Yeah.
You've got people running to and fro, scattering around all over the place. The pool's crazy busy, all this stuff. And that's what's great about Fort Wilderness. And you still have, it is a pain in the butt though, because you're almost better off just driving yourself out to the parks, because by the time you wait for the internal bus, get up to the front where the buses leave from, or wait for the internal bus to then get to the lower bus stop so that you can walk a quarter mile to the boat to then go ride the longest distance of a boat ride that there is to get over to Magic Kingdom. It does kind of get a bit much, but outside of that, but transportation issues are an issue in every resort. I can tell you my least favorite thing about every transportation issue in all the resorts.
Yeah. So. No, it's cool. It's cool that they're expanding this area.
The DVC properties were beautiful.
Yeah, Hoop-de-Doo Review's back, so
yeah, which is a great show, by the way.
All right, Disney announced that launch of My Disney, a unified login experience across the Disney network of websites. An interface that soft launched last summer. I haven't experienced it yet, but you still get the emails for logging into everything, so yay for Disney.
Yay.
Disney doubling down on climate-friendly Autopia. The company tells me that it will convert from gas engines to electric vehicles, not hybrids, and do it by 2026. This is from Sammy Roth. And this was part of the LA Times story that they did on Autopia out at Disneyland. So, full electric vehicles coming to California. There is no surprise there. Victoria and Albert's made the Michelin star list. So this is something that they flirted with and had and then lost and then flirted with and now they have it again. So Michelin, the Michelin stars are for the top of the top restaurants around the world. And Victoria and Albert's is one of the few that are in Florida for being a Michelin star restaurant. Have you been able to do a full meal at Victoria and Albert's yet?
I have done 0 meals. I have seen the entryway through the door as it was opened, as people dressed far fancier than me go in. That is my extent of Victoria and Albert's.
Yeah, you basically go to the Citrico's check-in booth and go left, and then try and get past the security guard.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe someday, but it's the same reason why I haven't eaten at Monsieur Paul or Takumi Thai. It's like I could pay my mortgage or I could have a meal.
Monsieur Paul is only a 2-credit meal. I mean, it's a 2-credit.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, we did it. We did it one of our first anniversary trips down there. So that would have been like 2015. No, it would have been 2017. It would have been our 10-year. We did Monsieur Paul, and it was probably the best piece of chicken I've ever had. Probably the most interesting entree I've ever had, or appetizer I've ever had. Because I had the oxtail soup, and it was interesting because it was under a puff pastry, so it looked like it had a hat. So we call it hat soup. Disneyland Halloween Festival will return to Disneyland Paris. And it is October 1st through November 3rd. They also announced that their Christmas, Disney's Enchanted Christmas, will return November 9th through January 6th. So timeline's pretty similar to what we'd expect for World. World's Halloween party will start August 8th probably this year. and go through November 1st-ish. And then Christmas will be about a week later. It takes them about a week to turn Magic Kingdom. So there is a way to get from Orlando International Airport to Walt Disney World for $2. There's a bus system now that will drop you off at Disney Springs from Orlando International Airport for $2. You are not impressed. I figured I'd get more out of you than that.
I doubt the legitimacy. I would like to know more.
You would like to know more. Okay. So.
But our 15-minute timer ended 15 minutes ago.
I know. New route called the Link 311 and serves Disney World via Disney Springs. The bus comes every 30 minutes each day from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. and is a fantastic and easy way to get from Orlando Airport to your vacation destination. The best part, it only costs $2 each way. The route will operate between Disney Springs Transfer Center and the Orlando International Airport with stops at Destination Parkway Superstop, International Drive at Destination Parkway, Orange County Convention Center, Universal Boulevard at Destination Parkway, and Florida Mall Superstop. So
that was going to be my question. My question was going to be, how many places is it stopping? Because now that just sounds
5,
awful.
6 stops to get to Disney Springs.
But it only comes every half an hour?
Yeah.
That thing's gonna look like a New Delhi train.
Yeah.
All those locations and every 30 minutes. There's no way that like this is gonna turn into fist fights and riots. Like, listen to all those spots.
Yeah.
That it's going to stop and pick up people? No way. No way. This is Nope, don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap. Admiral Akbar screaming.
It's a trap.
Just get the Uber or get the Sunshine Express / Mears. I don't know. It's Mears Connect operated by Sunshine Express or whatever. Sunshine Flyer.
Mears Express operated by Sunshine Flyer.
Yeah.
Disneyland Shanghai getting a new roller coaster, a Superman or a Spider-Man roller coaster that will have a souvenir shop, a meet and greet, and 2 launches, including a reverse launch. So it is Guardians of the Galaxy outdoors.
Yeah. Sounds like it, actually.
Auberge de Cendrillon in Disneyland Paris. Breakfast is coming back June the 29th. Permit for extensive work in the Journey of Imagination at EPCOT. So huge overhaul for that possibly.
That would be good.
Yeah, the permit has a lot on it. Structural, electrical. What all was on it?
Comments. Oh no, you're telling the story.
Blank expiration date, 1 year from the date filed. Yeah, they don't have anything new, but yeah, lots of work there. And then that's that. Okay, that's the news, and we had a ton of news, so Shannon with the hat soup comment. She loves hat soup. That was one thing we will always remember. And that place has like 4 windows too, I think. It was crazy. Are you opening cards?
No, I'm just organizing. I told you I have way too many Lorcana cards right now.
All right. Are we going to do a top 3?
I don't have time to open them and organize them, so I just haven't opened them. This one looks like it's been tampered with. This new box here.
Uh-oh.
I'm becoming very skeptical of it.
You're skeptical of everything, though. Rip it open, pull the middle pack out of the middle column, and pull the Enchanted.
It's a first chapter box.
You know, there's a $1,000 Elsa in that one.
Yeah, right. I wish. I'm not that lucky. All I get is Namaris. Not joking. I got 2 Namaris. See, here they are. Namari. And don't you worry. I sleeved my foil honey wizard. This is the most expensive card I own. I did get the Gramatala.
There you go.
Yeah, I think she's worth like 180.
There you go.
Yeah, man. Top 3. I don't care. What do you want to do?
Top 3. Here it goes. Firing away. Business trip.
Did the people move around?
It does tingle a little bit. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Matt with the DPI podcast. Over on the other screen, I have Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, and it is top 3 time. If you've been here before, you know how this goes. If you haven't been here, welcome. This is our segment where we are going to pull out a random chip out of this bag here, and we are going to line it up with a category from our viewers over on the other screen, and we are going to debate our top 3 for that category. Today's chip category is number 23. Let's see, right there. Hit it. Ta-da.
man.
It worked eventually.
Man, I am just shocked at how good our technology is.
Well, it's going to work as well as this top 3 category, because this top 3 category is your favorite bathrooms at Walt Disney World.
I actually have some of those. I'm already ready for this topic.
You got 30 seconds.
Thinking about taking a trip to Disneyland, Disney World, maybe a Disney cruise, or one of the other amazing Disney destinations? Contact me at Princess of the Mouse, and I'd love to work with you on your itinerary to the most magical places in the world.
You can contact Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel. All right. It's our top 3, and tonight it is top 3 bathrooms at Walt Disney World. Peter, you want to fire first on this one?
I don't care.
Go for it.
Okay, hold on. I gotta decide. I have 4 listed. I have to decide which one I'm going with first. Give me a moment. Oh, which one? Oh my god, I don't know. Oh, that could be like number 1. Oh, that could be number 1 and number 2. Maybe we should just do a top 2. Although, yeah. Okay, so my number 3. My number 3 bestest restroom. I'm also trying to kind of hit different parks. So I am gonna go with my number 3. I'm gonna go with. Which ones is he gonna go with? Everybody's so curious. I am gonna go with the restrooms in Germany over in EPCOT.
Okay.
So those restrooms have been frequented by myself and my family many, 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 many times. They are, first of all, Germany is one of my favorite pavilions. It nods to my heritage. During the festival, some of my favorite food is there. It's right after the Outpost, and the Outpost normally has some really good beers or ciders there. We've come through Mexico, we've come through Norway, we've come through China, we're coming through the African Outpost. This is about the time that those first cocktails are hitting and ready to roll. Fantastic food at the stands there, so we're typically resting around this area, which is why it gets frequented so much. And then one of the top thing about this restaurant, if you will, is they're relatively large. They're really not they're not all that busy. And then what I love about them is you have the model train set just outside to the left. And so just the whole picturesque scenery, they're themed kind of like that Bavarian village. You go in, it's got those earth tones and we're all that busy, just restrooms always clean. Definitely for no other sake than just sheer volume of use, I will go with the Germany restrooms over in Epcot, just for the number of times that we have walked in and out of those bathrooms.
There you go. There you go.
Matt, what is your number 3 place to go number 2?
All right, so my number 3 is gonna have a big turd standing out front, and it is the bathrooms over by Gaston's Tavern in the Magic Kingdom.
Big turd standing out front. Gaston statue.
Well, he also does a meet and greet back there as well, which is kind of fitting. But no, so these are, if you go straight back past, down the path past Gaston's Tavern, past the fountain, just keep going straight back. Don't bend around like you're going over to Ariel's Undersea Adventure. And they're kind of hidden back in there, which is kind of nice because what it does is it lessens the crowd back there. It's also kind of off the beaten path when you're thinking about Magic Kingdom, and they're back kind of in their own little corner. So unless you're just hanging out there and eating your cinnamon roll and your LeFou's brew and that kind of stuff, it's one that tends to not be super busy. Theming wise, all the bathrooms except for probably a few that are going to make this list are all themed real well to the lands that they're in. This is just kind of over the top with their wood and that kind of stuff, but it's still good bathroom, always really clean, quiet, kind of out of the way, like I said. And then you have that meet and greet that's there sometimes that could kind of block that entrance a little bit. So just be aware of that if you go back there. But my number 3 is the bathrooms back by Gaston's Tavern. Let's go ahead and let's get to number 2, Peter. Where is your number 2 place to go number 2?
I am going to cheat slightly, and I am just going to talk. Well, it's not, because, like, how do you pick, I don't know, pick one of these. I'm going to go with the Galaxy's Edge bathrooms because, right, the Galaxy's Edge bathrooms are really, really interesting, really cool. It's got that unique kind of otherworldly music playing in there. The sinks are unique because it's just kind of like trough style. Reminds me of, the old bathrooms at Wrigley Field. Again, kind of for the same reason as all these other things, you have to be in Galaxy's Edge to be using this bathroom, which makes them off the beaten path quite a bit. You have the one bathroom in between the milk stand and Droid Depot, the other bathroom up there off the side of the marketplace. If you had to make me choose one of those two, I would say my more favorite location is the one over in between Droid Depot and the milk stand. It's typically a little less traveled by. It's got some seating outside of there for the rest of your party to sit and rest if you're waiting on them. The milk stand is just around the corner if you want to grab a milk while somebody, might be taking a bit longer in there, working through that vacation blockage, all that good stuff. This was your fault for putting this topic on here, man. But it's really, really, really good bathrooms, really fantastic theming. Again, just metal work everywhere. They're always, for whatever reason, it's got to be all that metal work in there. I feel like these restrooms are notably cooler than the other restrooms. Like, so on a hot summer day, it is just awesome. Like, it just, the air conditioning in there and then all of that metal just kind of keeps the ambient temperature in there colder, doesn't let as much of it escape, that type of stuff. And these restrooms are like notably, 3 to 5 degrees colder than all the other restrooms, which of course helps as well with crowd size and beating a hot summer day and all of that stuff. Good place to take care of your problems. So that is what I'm going with. And now I have successfully gotten an EPCOT and a Hollywood Studios. So pick one of the restrooms at Galaxy's Edge because they're both pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would actually go with the other one because there's a little bit more going on and you get a little bit more cast interaction with your family if you want in the marketplace one. Because a lot
Plus
of times,
you have the little creature just outside interacting and all that
so
stuff.
there's a lot of different reasons to like each one of those bathrooms. For my number 2, I am going to go over to Animal Kingdom, and I'm going to go to the bathrooms that are right there by the entrance to Na'vi River Journey. Another really
that's a good one.
Really well themed because it looks like just a dropped crate there, just a big one of the RDA kind of equipment crates that they made a bathroom out of. Really well themed. It's a lot of times it's hidden by the line for Na'vi River Journey as that line extends outside of the queue. So a lot of people will walk right past it and not even realize it's a bathroom. So it tends to be relatively empty. It's back in the trees a little bit, so it's cooler. So yeah, it's just Shannon just put hers up. That's her number 3. Yeah, it's a really, really neat bathroom. And when it comes to theming, it's one of the better themed restrooms as well, I feel like. So just, again, just you get into that area. It's a really highly themed area. You get a really highly themed restroom with it as well. So my number 2 is going to be the restrooms by Navi River Journey. Okay, Peter, let's go ahead and let's get to your number 1 bathroom in Walt Disney World. And before you do that, tell people where they can find you. Not where they can find you pooping. Facebook. Just what? Where they can find you.
Yeah, not pooping. Not pooping. So yeah, find me over on Facebook. Love to talk to you. Princess and the Mouse Travel. Type in Disney Travel Agent. I'll be one of the top hits, especially if you're kind of in the Midwest area, just because Facebook seems to kind of show closer locations a little bit quicker. So, find me over there, set up a message, or hit our website below, fill out the form. I'll get with you really quickly. Would love to talk to you and help you out. And it doesn't just have to be Disney World. I know this show focuses on Disney World, but Disneyland, going overseas, going on the cruises, any of that stuff, I'm happy to help you with. For my number 1, I might be stealing Matt's number 1.
Don't cop out.
What?
Don't cop out and do everybody else's favorite.
What?
Be a rebel.
No, but this is like one of the best bathrooms in all of Disney World.
All right. I almost guarantee that Shannon has it on her list.
Okay. Apparently this is a cop-out, because it's probably on everybody's list. And honestly, I tend to avoid it just because of how freaking busy it is. It is the busiest stinking bathroom, and almost to an annoying sense. But it deserves to be on this list for theming and just the environment and the atmosphere of the bathroom. And that is the Rapunzel bathroom in Magic Kingdom, right? And Matt might have been going there for number 1. Were you going somewhere else, hopefully?
I think I'm going somewhere else.
Well, you are now, because I had a backup number 1 that is basically the anti this bathroom, if I needed to. And we could talk about that in our plus ones if we do plus ones.
Okay.
But the Rapunzel bathroom, it's right there in between Haunted Mansion and the Peter Pan Small World shoot, which makes it ridiculously busy because it's kind of right there in a main thoroughfare. It's right by the stroller parking for Peter Pan and Small World. So it's constantly busy, but it is also the most picturesque bathroom, hands down, in Disney World. You approach it, and the Imagineers did a clever little sleight of view with the way they put the trees up there, and the scaling of the tower makes it look like Rapunzel's tower is off in the distance. It's got some nods to the movie. It's got some wanted posters for like Flynn Rider and some of the other Snuggly Duckling people. The restrooms are massive, which is why even when it's busy, it's not. Because there's so many bathrooms in Walt Disney World, especially the women's room, where good luck, because you're waiting in a 10 to 15 person line. Yeah. You know, my daughter still at 9 years old will come with me just because it's a pain in the butt to sit there and wait for her at a lot of the restrooms. But these ones are just so massive that even though they're crazy busy, they're also just normally just walk right in and go to the bathroom, which is a huge plus, because a lot of the bathrooms in Walt Disney World just simply aren't that. So I will take the personally, I think we would get made fun of if we didn't bring up the Rapunzel bathroom, because the theming is next level. They're huge. The whole area outside of it is just so awesome. So yes, I will take the cop out, and I will do Rapunzel's bathrooms in Magic Kingdom. But again, I have a plus one if we want plus ones. But go ahead. Where is your number 1? We'll see if you hit my plus one.
So my number 1 is really weird, because I feel like it's it's themed well to the area, but when you look at it in the scope of like really themed bathrooms in Walt Disney World, it doesn't make that list. But it's hidden really well, and it's a great bathroom to where if you just need to get away from everything for a little while, it's a great bathroom to go to. And it is the bathroom at the entrance to Tomorrowland, up in like that pavilion area.
Tomorrowland Terrace.
Yes.
That was my backup. What? Because it's open during the day and they only use it for dessert parties.
Yes.
And it's a small bathroom, but nobody's ever in it. It is a great place to take a... Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, you get back there. It's under shade. It's just a great area. It's got that old school Tomorrowland theming to it. It's one of those bathrooms that... when you have like your home bathroom, I feel like that's my home bathroom. If I need to do something and I just want to get away and not deal with the crowd and we're close to it, that's where we're going. So
yeah, plus you can sit in the Tomorrowland Terrace seating, which offers kind of a nice view of the hub.
Yeah,
it's also a great place to bring a quick service meal. Like if you get food from Casey's, instead of sitting down in the hustle and bustle of Casey's, walk an extra like 300 feet and go up that ramp and sit at those tables and enjoy your lunch.
Or if you get ice cream right there at the corner.
Yep, nice breeze was always coming through there.
Yeah. No,
no joke. I did not have time. I did not have time to alter this list. There are my 3, and there's my +1 in case you took any of them.
We're on the same wavelength with this one. So, hey, if you guys have a better bathroom, let us know in the comments or down in the chat.
Another good one is over by Tortuga Tavern, because you have to go in through Tortuga Tavern, and that's always really, really quiet back there as well. If you're looking for quiet places in Magic Kingdom, we have given you a few.
So Shane had one on her list that neither of us touched on, and it's that new restroom complex built back in the France Pavilion. That's really nice. So,
yeah, it is really nice, and I agree, but it's so busy with how busy Remy.
Yeah.
You would think, like, when it first opened, it was so out of the way, but now it's just... I mean, we went there last time, and there was a line for that longer than the crepe line for the women.
Well, thank you for doing a top 3 with me. Good to get back in a little bit of a routine here and get a show done.
Yeah, don't get used to it.
I know. I think
the only reason I'm here is because a softball game got rained out and pushed to tomorrow.
Allie's got 3 meets next week, so no, I completely understand. Completely understand. But thank you guys all for watching this week. If you stayed for both segments, thank you very much. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. We are at 420 subscribers, which is awesome. Over on the YouTube channel, we'd love to see that number get to 500 by the end of the year. But it only gets there if you guys help us. So definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't before, and we will talk to you next week. Bye now. Hey, we had Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel on with us, and we talked the news, and we did a top 3. It was pretty awesome. Check it out. On social media, you can find us in a bunch of different places. The first place is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast. You can find the travel page at PATM Disney Travel. Check them out. Over on Twitter at Disney Insights, and then on Instagram it's at Princesses and the Mouse, and YouTube the Disney Play. Thank you all for watching, liking, subscribing, sharing, everything that you do to support the channel. You guys all have a good week, and we will see you next week.